So this is downtown Bikini Bottom. How will I ever find Mr. Krabs in such a huge place where the streets never end and the buildings just go on and on and on?
Yoo-hoo! SpongeBob, over here!
Hello everyone, welcome back to Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. As you can see, we are now in downtown Bikini Bottom, and I noticed that in a lot of early SpongeBob video games especially, there are a number of lines that repeat, that either like the exact recording of it or just the line in general is present in a lot of video games. And I'm getting my ass absolutely handed to me by that big thug boy. Anyway, I'm addicted to picking up doubloons. It's the best part of the game because of the ching sound. Anyway, long story short, we're delivering food to apartments and stuff here in downtown. But yeah, so this is downtown Bikini Bottom is in at least 2 other SpongeBob games. I have a feeling today will be like no other day that he said at the beginning of the game. That exact recording is in a few of other ones. And there are others. Like in Creature from the Krusty Krab with Plankton, with the, like, hey Sponge Fool, why don't you just give up line is in a couple of games, and I think I've heard it in other places as well. Not like the show or anything, but just other SpongeBob shit. It's always funny noticing that kind of stuff with cartoons and video games based on them. It's also like, I had a lot of SpongeBob books when I was growing up, and a lot of them used all of the sort of like, they're not stock images, I guess, but not stock images in the way that they are, you know, like an actual stock image, but just kind of images that they had on hand for all the characters that they would use, different poses that are on like all the promotional material and stuff, and you just see them all the time. The best one is that the one they use for Plankton all the time is the one where he's trapped in the bubble, but they don't always include the bubble, so it's just him, like, screaming in midair. But anyway, downtown is a much more expansive level than the Bikini Bottom overworld. Most of the levels are. These ones are of an actual length. And, yeah, I'm kind of just doing the big coin hunt, and showing off, you know, all the, places around here, or at least most of them in this main, what's called the business district, of downtown, because there are a few different sections to it. As you'll see soon, we're gonna go to a construction site. There's a high-rise apartments place, and of course there's a bunch of jellyfish, so we are going to be running around collecting jellyfish. As we will do with every fucking level in this game. I'm not gonna waste time getting all of the jellyfish, but as I said before, you kind of might as well basically get all of them or close to all of them, because you at different points in the game will need a high game total. Imagine just standing above a vent in the city, and or like a, I guess like a sewer drain, and just doubloons come flying up into your ass out of the vent, out of the ground. I don't know how I would feel about having doubloons from the sewer come into my butt. I guess you needed 75 doubloons for this level. That's cool. So yeah, here I'm changing into the fishing gear, but you've already seen me explore the vast majority of this portion of the level, so there's no real value in watching me go all the way around at normal speed. But to not be a cheapo, I decided I would just leave it in sped up. And it's very funny watching SpongeBob roll around. As I will always point out in all of my Let's Plays, just because you never know who's going to watch which ones, one of the criteria for good games for me is that the character has something they can do to make them move faster. Now, to be fair, I'm pretty sure the roll only goes like moderately faster than just your normal run in this game, but whatever, it makes me feel like I'm going faster, and I'm pretty sure it is a little bit faster, and it's better than just doing, like, you know, I don't know, the run is really slow, especially with the fishing gear, because he does this like slow motion run where he takes really long strides because he's supposed to be like jaunting through the wind catching jellyfish, but it makes the whole affair seem even slower than it already is. But whatever. So that's the end of that excursion. Now we are going to go into the construction site. Perfect cutoff with that bit of the song there. And I don't know if I'll even continue just including the bubble wipes in general, because there's no real point, but I've been speeding them up and I think that's been working out pretty well. But yeah, this is the construction site. I kind of like this part. This level isn't bad. I was never crazy about it as a kid, mostly because the vast majority of the stuff is in the high-rise, and the high-rise is kind of annoying to get around, and you're gonna see a little bit of it in this one. But I don't know, it's a neat enough level. Downtown Bikini Bottom is always like kind of a ho-hum sort of deal. They usually put it at the beginning of the game, and it's just kind of like, you know, the town. You can kind of, it's kind of open-ended the way the different games interpret what downtown Bikini Bottom is differently. I mean, they usually have like apartments and it's a bit of a cityscape, but that's really the only consistent thing. And I think I die here. Yeah, it's very easy. Those things start sinking before you even touch them, and it is kind of annoying. And here is the weakest fucking man ever. This gigantic crustacean. You do him 2 little swipes of your fishing net, and he's dead. And as you can see, Patrick's over there. We're gonna have a great fun time with him. Also, I guess before getting too deep into this video, it's already been 8 minutes, but whatever. I'm sorry for this video going up pretty late at night. Not that it will matter for anybody other than the people watching it the day that it is coming up, obviously, as always when I mention shit like this. But I always feel the need to address it. I don't know, I don't have an excuse, I just didn't get around to it until now. Yesterday was my birthday, so I was just kind of chilling out, trying to have a good day, and didn't end up doing any video stuff, but I did play some things. I've been trying to play, so I got a PS1 emulator working on my computer. It's EPSXE, just the one that, you know, everybody that I know that has emulated PS1 games uses. And for one of the games, so I have this Logitech like Xbox style controller that I use for everything. It's my USB controller, and when I did the input and everything as a DualShock controller in the EPSXE, and it works fine except for clicking in the control stick. I'm fairly certain that on the input thing there is an option for it, and I mean, I, you know, clicked it and then like to set it, and then I clicked the thing in, and it worked, but when I'm doing the game, it isn't working. And it's the only thing about the controller that doesn't really work. And for a particular game that I was trying to play, and I was trying to play because I want to replay it because I want to LP it at some point, you have to do something involving clicking the control stick in to get past, like, the first bit of the game. So if anybody is an expert on that and wants to explain what might be the problem and how to fix it, that would be a great help.
It got both official costumes from the Mermaid Man show.
Oh, you got both costumes? Oh, can I be Mermaid Man? Oh, please, oh, please, oh, please.
Oh, gee, I'd really like to, but I've been so hungry since I ran out of kelp bars. If only I had something yummy to eat.
You don't say. Well, I actually have some delicious patties for you.
Find the 2 workers who placed the order. Some of the other workers might try to take the food from you. Order up!
The best part about this is if you fuck up and drop the food, you can just, let's not leave the level. Don't want to sit through the loading times a bunch. There's a little bit later where you'll notice that the exit that I take is not to the place that I'm trying to go, because I actually fucked up and did the wrong one, and then had to go back and go through the right one to get to the high-rises. And I figured you didn't really need to see just 45 seconds of me being at load times and moving a little bit, so I cut it out. So when you see that and it doesn't make sense, that's why. I wanted to mention in the first video of this, but didn't. I didn't really, I grew up playing this game, but not quite in the same way that I did Battle for Bikini Bottom, because that game, as I've said before, was one of the first games that I owned as my own. I mean, here's the Mermaid Man costume. Unquestionably the best costume, just because I like the way it moves, like the jump is cool, and you throw water balls, which is nice. Like projectiles, that's a useful feature for a costume. Battle for Bikini Bottom actually, as the concept art reveals, was supposed to have costumes for SpongeBob. That was a concept that they tried out in this one, but didn't end up making in Battle for Bikini Bottom. But there's a comment from someone on the first video that actually reminded me of a lot of elements of this game and Battle for Bikini Bottom that are similar, because they were ideas that, either ideas that were made up for this game that they liked and decided to kind of run with, such as the Flying Dutchman level, and ideas that were in this that might have been repeated in Battle for Bikini Bottom, or were going to be repeated but ended up not. But there are still remnants of it. So the idea that this is sort of a proto-BFBB is one that is apparently not uncommon with a lot of other people. From what I've seen, I've seen other people say that before. It's not an entirely original thought on my part. But anyway, I got Battle for Bikini Bottom the year that it came out, Christmas of the year it came out, 2003. I got it for the Xbox, and then I got the movie game, and then I bought the subsequent games, and I think it wasn't until like 2008, 2009 that I bought this game, which is definitely still my childhood, don't get me wrong, but it's not, again, not quite the same as Battle for Bikini Bottom or the movie game, which I've played, it has to be hundreds of times at this point. Like, I really don't see how it couldn't be. And yeah, here are the high-rises, and I do what I do for every new section of this game, which is I go around and collect all the shit first, and then I worry about doing the thing, because collecting the shit is more fun, and it's very easy to miss it when you're busy doing the thing. So I put off the thing for a little bit. So I apologize if that's like repetitive and stupid to you, but you're not wrong, but that's how I did it. But the thing that made me play through this game, and this was one of the many games that I did like a test camcorder LP of on my old camera that only recorded on tape, and I would just tape over it each time. But yeah, if that hadn't just recorded on tape, and if my mom had allowed me to have a YouTube account at that age, because yes, she's a stickler for rules, so she heard that you need to be 13 to have an account, so she very strictly enforced that. And even when I was 13, she wasn't too crazy about it. She kept thinking that I was putting my face on there, which, when you're a child, I can very much understand having that concern, but anyway. But the two things that made me play this game were, I believe there was a trailer for it, or demo, or something on the Battle for Bikini Bottom disc. I remember, or some kind of, I think it might have been a trailer, but it was for this game. And, you know, it was just another fucking SpongeBob game, so I was like, oh shit, I just need to play that. And, then I had played it, but the thing that made me, like, resolve to actually try to beat it was I saw two YouTube videos. Well, one of them was a series, and one of them was just one video. It was kind of like a Let's Try. And I forget the name of the one-off video, but it was of this very, like, it was a camcorder LP, super low quality, very loud and abrasive guy. I probably find him very annoying at the time, but of course found it very funny. Or I would have found it very funny at the time. I probably would find it annoying now, is what I mean. And I forget his name, but he also did, I liked his video on Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Toy Story 2 for the N64. Also games that I played when I was a kid and enjoyed. I never got very far in either of them, though. Anyway, yeah, he played this game, and all I remember of it is when the Dutchman comes out of the bottle, he said, holy shit, and I was a little kid, so I was like, oh, he said a cuss! That's hilarious! And then, what else? That's like, I just watched the movie Matinee, which takes place in the 60s during the Cuban Missile Crisis. And the part where the kids are listening to a comedy record, and they're just like giggling at all the parts where he says curse words. And I was watching that like, ha ha ha, how quaint, the 60s. But then I remembered that I did the exact same shit with my friends when I was a little kid, like when we were in the library looking up ass or whatever, and I don't know, if you fucking YouTube videos, you hear bad words and you'd be like, ooh, how titillating. Oh, to be a child again. But yeah, so there's that one. Then the other one was a full LP. I think he didn't actually finish it, but it was by a channel called Foot and Mouth Industries, spelled with a YS. And I actually found it very funny, and I think that it's gone now. I remember looking it up a while ago and not seeing it, so I think it may be gone, but nothing is ever gone forever. I'm sure it's on some sketchy Russian site somewhere or whatever, or archive.org. But regardless, for that, I don't know why, but you know, I remember that was actually one of the first Let's Plays that I watched, because it was when I was like just getting into them, and so I was just looking up Let's Plays of every game that I liked, and this was back in the day where you didn't really find all that many SpongeBob Let's Plays. It hadn't really caught on with the crowd that was making LPs, because it was being played by babies like me. But now all those babies are old enough to be Twitch streamers and stuff, so that's why you have that now. But yeah, at the time, you know, there were like 3 Let's Plays this game, and they were all pretty shit. At least in terms of like quality by today's standards. But I kind of like that. Most of the game and LP videos that I watch now, they're either like people talking about video games, and if they're playing video games, they're from a long time ago. Like, I watched the ones that I watched from like 2008 to like 2011, 2012, because they have that old YouTube vibe, that old YouTube stank on them. And I really like and miss those days of Let's Play videos because, I don't know, they were just kind of scrappy, they had lower production value, and it's like anything else with the internet. It was cooler when, I mean, it was dumber, and, you know, I'm not going to say it was perfect in terms of, like, you know, obviously there's a lot of bad stuff that people got away with on the internet then and shit, but, and there's a lot of dumb shit, obviously, but, like, I don't know, it felt more like, just like Wild West, you know, for lack of a better term. Just people doing it for the fuck of it, people making stuff because it was fun, and sharing it because it was fun, and if something was in your recommended, it was, you know, based on, like, the tags of the shit that you were watching and liked. And I don't know, now everything feels all micro-targeted, and everything is, you know, ad-sensed, and everything is a brand and whatnot, and just, you know, everything sucks, like usual. You guys know who I am, but anyway, yeah, that's really all we can do in downtown Bikini Bottom, except for these last bit of deliveries coming up here, and we will do that next time, so I will see you then for that.